The Saints defense dominates again in a shutout win against Houston, but is this success reality or just a preseason mirage? Mike Detillier weighs in. Plus, with their season opener location up in the air, LSU at least knows who its starting quarterback will be. And Jonathan Banks is certain he's the right guy to lead Tulane's offense in 2017.
This is the last word on sports. 4th Down on 4 starts now.
3 weeks into the Saints preseason, and here's the question. Is the Saints defense overall the one that we're seeing in the exhibition games, and especially the pass rush? Is it real? I'm Doug Mouton. Welcome to 4th Down on 4, because if it is, the Saints could be a playoff team again. Here's the stat of the preseason. Right now, the Saints lead the NFL in team sacks. Sure, the games don't count, but they were 27th in the NFL in sacks last season. In 3 preseason games, the Saints have 16 sacks. Is the improvement real?
Still preseason, you know. It's live bullets, but, you know, it's not live bullets, so to speak. So inside, I want to say yes, but it's early. You know, I'll continue to let our play do the talking, you know, when we get into the season.
We're making steps. We're happy with where we're going. We're not satisfied by any means, but we like the direction that we're going. We're going to keep on pushing, keep on working.
Cam Jordan says better communication is a big part of the difference.
It's improved so much from when we first got together at the beginning of the camp till now. I'm looking for that same progression and even a more rapid pace 2 weeks from now.
Granted, Houston does not have one of the NFL's most dynamic offenses, but maybe the most important thing about Saturday night's preseason win, when it was the ones versus the ones in the first half, the Saints did not give up a point. And the Saints pitched that shutout in the first half with 3 rookies on the field for the entire half. Cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, safety Marcus Williams, and linebacker Alex Anzalone.
Coach Allen always says we're trying to change the culture around here. You know, obviously the past hasn't been up to the standard that we've wanted it, and you know, guys are buying in and doing what they're supposed to do and doing their job to the best of their ability. Alex
Anzalone was solid. He played in the base defense and in the nickel. And in his first extended preseason action, first-rounder Marshawn Lattimore played well, but he wasn't happy. He thought this should have been an interception.
I got to be a great player, not a good player. You know, I had to make plays that anybody else wouldn't have made. That's what's going to separate me from, you know, the other people, other corners. So, you know, it was a good play, but, you know, I had to be great.
With Delvin Breaux out for at least the first 4 games, maybe more, Lattimore will have to be the #1 corner. Saturday, he and P.J. Williams started, with Devontae Harris playing a lot in the first half in the nickel. And maybe the biggest difference in this defense in the preseason has been the improved play of last year's #1 pick, Sheldon Rankins.
You know, there's nothing slowing me down. There's no thinking about the leg. There's no thinking about anything. It's just going out and playing football the way I was able to do, you know, before the leg. So, you know, I feel 100%, you know, and just trying to get better each week.
Rankins has the ability to be an elite defensive tackle. Linebacker A.J. Klein looks like an excellent addition. And Sean Payton praised his rookie class, Lattimore, Anzalone, and Marcus Williams, for their ability to get the defense so quickly. Maybe pieces are in place for a significant improvement on defense.
I really do believe that between the veteran leaders we have on the defense, the humbleness of the young guys that are willing to learn and listen to us, and then the energy that the coaches are bringing to the table each and every day, I think it's a perfect mixture. So just keep on working, keep your head down, keep going.
And joined by a good friend, Mike Detillier from WWL Radio. All right, Mike, that is the question. Is what we're seeing real? What is your gut?
Well, listen, preseason's the biggest mirage in the world. There's nothing more fake than preseason. But it does leave you down a road that this defense is much better than a year ago. And there is no question about it. One, right off the bat, the 2 guys that have been stellar players, Cam Jordan's had the best camp of anybody on this football team. And Kenny Vaccaro. I think those 2 guys being the leader, I think the big difference, Doug, is the linebacking core. When you're talking about A.J. Klein, Manti Te'o come in, they've done a great job. Alex Anzalone has exceeded all expectations as a rookie to come in to pick this up. I think that's been the big change. And certainly the negative and what you don't know is in the secondary because that's where you got a bunch of young kids. The only guy with any experience, Sterling Moore. So Marshawn Lattimore, he's got to play like Marcus Peters played in Kansas City 2 years ago. He's got to be a big-time player because you know if it started tomorrow, it would be P.J. Williams, Lattimore, Sterling Moore at that swing position as the nickel.
Yeah, and look, since we're on Lattimore, I thought he had a really nice game against the Texans in the first half that he played. He definitely showed what he can do. Granted, still a long way to go, but you got to be encouraged with what you've seen, right?
He's athletically arrogant and proud to tell you. And you know what? I like that in a player. You know, if you can back it up, there's nothing wrong with you saying how good you are. And he's sort of challenging people. You saw he got challenged a few times last night. He made plays. Now, you're going to lose it. The big part about it is, can you dust yourself off when you're going to get beat a few times and say, okay, you're going to throw it at me, I'm going to make you pay the price. This defense is better than a year ago. What I'm even more encouraged about is what I see on special teams. You lost 3 games last year because of bad special teams play. I think the addition of Kevin O'Day and Brad Banta coming in as special teams coaches, they've worked out the quirks and Will Lutz. Thomas Morstead is kicking today as well as you've ever seen him kick. I'm interested to watch the return game because Ted Ginn Jr. gives you that speed element, but it's the guys that are making plays in coverage. And we've already seen it. This is a much better football team on special teams. The big question mark is, in a division that's gotten better, how much better are you on defense? I'm not worried about your offense. As soon as Max Unger comes in, that's your problems up front are going to be solved. It's, can you come up with turnovers? Can the pressure lead to turnovers? I think that's the big key in the NFL.
But the one guy that I really like that I want to ask you about is Sheldon Rankins, who I think looks like a guy ready to be the guy we thought he would be last year. Agreed?
Yeah, well, how many rookie defensive tackles make that big of an impact up front? Very few. And you see Rankins just destroying everything up front in run defense, and also his ability to push the pocket inside as a pass rusher. What would be great is Onyemata can flip the switch. And I think that he's another guy that as the season goes along, more playing time you'll see that. But I think Rankins up front now, along with Cam Jordan, and a veteran linebacking crow that knows what to do, because Mike Nolan has stressed that, and a special teams, especially the coverage unit. Chris Banjo, I think, has had a terrific preseason. He's made his way on this roster because of it. But when you look across the board, Doug, defensively, they've gotten better at every position. And the changes coaching-wise, Ryan Nielsen, Mike Nolan, O'Day, and Banta on special teams, they've all paid off for you.
It does seem like that. There are certainly some reasons for optimism for now. Hang with us. We want to talk LSU football. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. Coming up, Mike analyzes just how much of an impact Arden Key and Dante Jackson can make for the Tigers on defense. Plus, true freshman Miles Brennan put up a heck of a fight, but Danny Etling will begin the season as LSU's starter. And LSU's senior quarterback has taken a long road to finally reach his goal. And later, we'll focus on the Green Wave, who believe a bowl game is a realistic goal, with number 1 now leading the Tulane offense. New Orleans has now emerged as a legitimate possibility to host LSU's season opener Saturday. Historic flooding in Houston means the BYU opener needs to find a new home. SMG runs the stadium in Houston and the Superdome, so the transition could be done. The Texans and ESPN will decide where to move the game. Now, LSU leaders say they're considering 5 venues. To me, the Superdome seems the most likely for a lot of reasons. We should know Monday or Tuesday at the latest. The only concern with New Orleans was that Harvey might turn towards New Orleans next, but current models do not have it doing that. The storm is expected to be in Arkansas by Friday. Wherever that game is, Danny Etling will be LSU's starting quarterback. Ed Ogeron made that announcement this week, as Leslie Spoon reports.
To no one's surprise, earlier in the week, Ed Ogeron named Danny Etling the Tigers' starting quarterback. Ogeron wanted to tell him in person, so he made up an excuse to have the fifth-year senior stop by his office.
He's like, hey, we got to talk about some academics. I was like, academics? I'm in grad school. I don't have anything. But he was just kind of joking around, making a joke. And we went in there, and he told me I was going to be the starting quarterback for game 1 for LSU, and I was pretty pumped to hear it.
Etling said the moment he left Coach's office, he called his parents. Together, they've endured many ups and downs of college football, transferring from Purdue and having to sit out a year, waiting for an opportunity behind Brandon Harris, playing through a painful back injury, and having to re-earn the starting job this preseason.
How long of a road it's been to get to this point, and how sometimes difficult of a journey it's been, but it was all worth it just for that moment there.
Ogeron explained why he's going with Etling.
Consistency, knowing the offense, being around the team, day in and day out, performing very well. After the surgery, he came back. He must have worked throughout the summer, night and day. He was prepared. I think the competition helped him get better. Matt feels like he's thrown the ball better since his operation.
I can't relate to, trying to do everything he was doing, not being able to have feeling in certain parts of your foot. So, and even though he was looking like he was doing it, he wasn't sure and he wasn't confident. So I think there's more confidence in what he's doing. I think there's more velocity in what he's doing.
I think people don't understand how bad Danny was hurting last season. And, now he's moving a lot better. He's putting some zip on the ball. And he's just running the show. He has that. He has the authority of the offense, and when he talks, we all listen.
Etling wanted to wait until after spring football to have back surgery, and he says that procedure has made all the difference. He says without the pain, he even sleeps better, which only makes him more productive on the field. He gets healthier with every day that passes.
I think I'm finally starting to feel, back at that 100% that, I haven't felt in a while.
Now it's important to point out Ogeron named Etling the starter for game 1.
Miles Brennan was a very close second. So did Lowell Northeast show up that he is going to be an excellent quarterback for us. The competition was very close. It was very close. And we also want to see what those guys can do.
Will Clapp is happy Etling is getting the starting nod. He thinks it's his turn. But with all the hype surrounding Brennan, Clapp says it just means the future's bright for the Tigers.
Miles can sling it. The kid's got a cannon, smart. He, like you said, he got here in the summer and learned the playbook. And, it takes a lot of guys a while to just, coming from high school to a college playbook. But he's smart enough to figure it out, and the physical tools he has is amazing.
So does Etling have a slim margin for error? If he does, he's confident he'll be just fine. It's nothing new, except now he's got experience to pull from.
I've never not had a competition going into a season, and it's always been a difficult thing to drive through. And as a freshman, I was very difficult at understanding how to compete and all those things. So. It's been a very good learning experience, and it's a good life lesson for anyone that you got to be able to compete and enjoy that and embrace it.
Leslie Spoon, 4th Down on 4.
And Mike Detillier joins us again. Okay, the quarterbacks. Danny Etling was the obvious choice, but what made the choice not so obvious was how good Miles Brennan was. The future looks pretty good at quarterback, doesn't it?
Yeah, because your number 2 and 3 guys now are freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles made a great jump. You wonder a little bit, had he been able, now again, being at that school, he couldn't come in the spring. Had he been in here in the spring, just how heated a competition that have been between him and Danny Etling. But bottom line is, we all knew Etling was going to be the quarterback.
Sure.
And we know the choo-choo train that drives this offense, and that's Darius Geis.
Sure.
He is a guy that I think will get to 2,200 yards total offense. He got 1,700 yards total offense last year as a runner, receiver, and a return man. And he split time with Leonard Fournette.
Right.
Make me believe that he's not going to get it as a runner receiver in this offense with Matt Canada. I think the keys are making sure your offensive tackles and KJ Malone and Toby Weathersby stay healthy, because if not, you got a lot of young kids that you're going to have to play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And to me, a guy that will make a major jump forward this year from Metairie is Dante Jackson. I think LSU's corners with Jackson and Tolliver can be the strength of that defense. They can guide everything around that. I know you like Dante Jackson.
Yeah, I look at a football team almost like a movie. You got to have star appeal. Well, you got one on defense in Arden Key. Now, he'll miss the first 2 games. I think you'll see him against Mississippi State. He's the best defensive player in college football today. And I think he's in my opinion, he's the best edge pass rusher I have ever seen at LSU in doing this 32 years.
Wow.
He's got that type talent. Dante Jackson is the third could-be star. Because I look at last year, USC, Sam Darnold, take nothing away from him. But who made the plays for them? Adoree Jackson. As a cornerback, return man. Adoree brought back punts, 15.8 yards an average, 2 for scores, 29.5 as a kickoff return man, 2 scores. Dante Jackson is really an offensive player playing defense.
No doubt.
And he can make that type impact. If there's a college football player that's similar to the guy the Titans picked in round 1 from SC, it's Dante Jackson. Adoree and him are very similar in so many ways, and he can have that huge impact. Because I think what sparks a football team more than anything, special teams. Ed's got to win in that category, and it'll be interesting. No special teams coach. It's all divided between 4 guys, and Dennis Johnson's going to have meatball. He's going to have a big part in that.
No doubt. Now, as of this taping, the LSU-BYU game, we don't know where it's going to be played. It's not going to be in Houston. Very well could be in New Orleans. That has not been announced yet. But it's going to be played somewhere Saturday night. You got to like LSU's chances in the opener, right?
Yeah, I hate to play a team that's already played a game because, in essence, what you saw with BYU, they just kind of went through the motions against Portland State. But LSU's speed, athleticism, they'll win this game by 10 points in that range. I think they'll struggle a little bit early with a new offense, everything coming together, but then ride the train. Man, I'll know how to turn around and give the football to Geis. And I think the big thing this year is going to be to watch for LSU fans is the supporting cast, where you might see as many as 15 freshmen play on this football team. Doug, that's a lot of young kids. How they respond to center stage, and Babe's already said, Kalavion Chason, he may start as a pass rush defensive end. You're talking about Kerry Vincent as the nickel cornerback, Grant Delpit at the safety position, Ed Ingram at offensive guard. That's 4 freshmen that could be starters. There's a lot of youth, but I know for Ed, you got to win. You got to win now. And I think he's going to play a lot of freshmen if they can help him.
Mike, terrific job as always. Thank you for joining us. We will have an LSU special coming up this Wednesday night at 6:30. Our Eye on the Tigers special. It's O-time with profiles of Coach O, Dante Jackson, and a lot more. That's coming up Wednesday night at 6:30. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. Still ahead, Tulane quarterback Jonathan Banks is brimming with confidence as his Green Wave are set to begin the season Saturday. Why he thinks a bowl game should be the minimum the Wave achieved this season. That story when we come back. Tulane coach Willie Fritz and his team have not been shy about their goals. They expect to go to a bowl game in Fritz's second season, but to get there, they'll need their new number 1 to be as good as they think. All the optimism for Tulane revolves around number 1 and how new quarterback Jonathan Banks can make the Tulane offense better. Last year, Tulane ran the ball pretty well. They were 4th in the American Conference in rushing. But Fritz believes they can do a lot better than that.
It was good. It was, we can do a heck of a lot better with our system. We're hoping to, get 50 to 100 yards more a game is what we'd like. So we can certainly do a lot better with our rushing attack.
And that improvement starts with what Banks can do. He can throw it, but where he is special is when he runs. And Fritz says he'll use that and base everything offensively around the triple option.
We got to defend the dive, the quarterback, the pitch. We do a lot of window dressing with our motions and shifts where it might look like we're running an option, but all we're really running is a power or inside zone, but you still got to have people on the quarterback and the pitch. So, it helps spread out the defense as well.
Obviously, if Tulane runs it more effectively, it keeps a good defense well rested. And Banks says he believes Tulane is more than good enough to get to a bowl.
Some of my personal goals, I want to lead my team to the American Conference Championship, just flip the record, Of course, I want to go undefeated. That's my goal, I want to shock a lot of fans, make some of the fans, in New Orleans happy, turn this program around.
They open against a very good Grambling team Saturday night. And Willie Fritz has had big success in year 2 at multiple stops with the Mules of Central Missouri. He went 5-6, turned that into 8-3 at Sam Houston State in year 2. His Bearcats went 14-1 in year 2 and into the national championship game. And in year 2 at Georgia Southern, his Eagles went 8-4. They took a one-game step back, but they got to the GoDaddy.com Bowl. Tulane opens with Grambling Saturday night. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. Wednesday night, join us for an Eye on the Tigers preseason special. It's O-Time. That's live at 6:30 here on Channel 4. Then the season premiere of 4th Down Friday night at 10:15 as the high school football season starts across Louisiana. Football season is here. For Leslie Spoon, producer Danny Rockwell, photographer Adam Ney, and all of us here at Eyewitness Sports, I'm Doug Mouton. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on 4th Down on 4.